Never thought about it in thought.
Welcome to Wailuku Hongwanji Missions 2021 Sokai and installation of officers and directors. We'll start this evening service with a meditation, Vandana and Tisarana.
Samgan sarana gacchami. Aingot kudabundan rogaides. Aingot kudadaman rogaides. Aingot pidasamgan rogaides. Namandavus, namandavus, namandavus.
May we all rise to sing the Gatha, evening Gatha, as it's on the program.
Shadows ordered, earth was stealing, sin and darkness will descend. Gladly we around thee yonder, teacher, master, guide, and friend. When the last long darksome twilight on the lights of earth shall hide, truth within its arms shall hold us, bearing us across death time. Ever onward, ever upward, gently held in love's embrace, till we reach nirvana's summit and behold truth face to face.
We will have the General Assembly now. Mike Munekil will conduct.
Okay, so much for technology. I always tell people I'm at the top of top of the list of tech dummies. So here's a good example. But I did want to acknowledge a few people this evening. Of course, Mrs. Murakami is playing music for us tonight. And you know, this whole virtual environment is somewhat foreign to me. We've got Danny Top, Dana Ikiuchi, Donovan Ikiuchi having their tripods and cameras here and laptops and wires all over the place. And so I thank them for helping to make this evening's service and meeting possible. We also had a pre-recorded concho with Eric Ikiuchi that was fed into the program at the beginning. So from my point of view, it's pretty complicated, but I know from their point of view, it's pretty simple. In any event, I'll call the meeting to order. This is the meeting of the 2021 General Assembly for Wailuku Hongwanji Mission. And before we proceed with the business matters, I did want to share a few words. As I mentioned, the fact that we are holding this meeting virtually speaks to the extraordinary circumstances that we are living through today. You know, I was looking back at some of my notes from last year's General Assembly meeting and the chair's message. That was in 2020 of January. And in that message, I spoke of the future of Wailuku Hongwanji. And by future, I talked about what Wailuku Hongwanji might look like in the year 2040, 20 years ahead down the road. And then I thought about what we have all lived through in 2020. And I realized that the COVID-related events of 2020 has totally changed our perception of what the word future means. Whereas a year ago, the word future meant to dream and look ahead and think about what life might be like for our children in 20 years. Today, for many of us, when we speak of the future, we're more than likely thinking about what life might be like in the weeks and months ahead. We ask ourselves, when can we freely meet with friends again? When can we get our children back into their classrooms? When can we travel again without being tested? And for Wailuku Hongwanji, will it be another series of canceled fundraising events? Will it mean another year of income challenges? So for now, we look to the future with a much shorter time horizon and the hope that this will change as the new year of 2021 progresses. One thing COVID has brought to light, perhaps more than any other time that I can recall, is that living in an environment of sustained and intense uncertainty brings about what our Buddha Dharma refers to as discomfort or suffering. At the same time, this suffering or discomfort has required us to embrace change, because doing nothing in an organization in the midst of uncertainty will not relieve that discomfort. Here at Wailuku Hongwanji, we've seen so many acts of selflessness, so many new ideas for conducting temple operations, so many willing to help when help was needed. So while COVID brought significant challenges to our temple operations, our board of directors, past and newly elected, are extremely grateful to our Wailuku Hongwanji Ohana, our members, our friends, our affiliate organizations. You have responded with generosity. You have responded with the giving of time and energy. And you have responded with what Reverend Murakami calls the joy of happiness. So despite all that is going around us these days, we are grateful to get up each morning knowing that we are surrounded by the spirit of dana, or selfless giving, and the spirit of our Jodo Shinshu, compassion. The board of directors, newly elected, look forward to working with all of you to embrace further change and adaptation so that we can look beyond COVID and build a healthier Sangha. Namo Amida Butsu. At this time, I'd like to call on our Director of Properties, Mr. Paul Hiranaga. We will bring Paul up on the screen, and he will provide an overview of our proposed budget for 2021.
Hi, everyone. Hope you can hear me. One of the things that I always do is I sort of go through the current year, the past year, 2020, as a quick summary, and then we'll go into the budget. Obviously, 2020 was a very difficult year. We had compiled a very big budget in a sense that we had planned to get a lot of things done. We were going to finish some of the 120 projects, which included the accessible restroom at the temple, as well as a number of other projects to take care of maintenance issues at our main campus. Originally, it was really tough because we did not have the Maui Matsuri. We did not have the Maui County Fair, Chow Fund, fundraisers. So we were thrust in a situation that we were concerned as to how we were going to be able to fund a lot of these things that we were committed to do. One of the great things that we did do was we did complete the accessible restrooms, which and acquire the ownership of our photovoltaic system. And that was originally budgeted to be about $190,000 for those two projects. We actually only spent $100,000, and that is primarily because we had a very generous donation from TJ Gomes Trucking. Basically, they donated their services for the installation, part of the work needed to install the accessible restroom. And that donation was close to $65,000. So that was a huge help to us. The other thing that was tremendous in 2020 was we did a year-end fund drive, which we had a goal of hitting $60,000, and I'm glad to say that we exceeded that. At the end of December, we had brought in $62,000, and in January, money continues to come in. The other donations would vary at times, but the Kyodan Fund was also very, people were very generous. As you see close to the bottom of the screen, we had originally budgeted only $5,000 to come in as contributions directly to the Kyodan, but almost $18,000 came in. Just a number of things that added to our income, which allowed us to basically we were only about $13,000 short of the original fundraising, total goal of income for the year. So if you scroll a little higher up, down rather, all the way to the page 2, actually, if you keep on going, you'll see that our total income there at $351,000 is basically just $13,000 short of our original goal. Now, of course, 2020, we were going to be very ambitious. We were going to, as I mentioned, complete the 120th projects, which were budgeted to be over 100, close to 190,000. We were going to do some other projects, and we had actually originally forecasted that we would have a negative cash flow of $250,000, $257,000 to be exact. Well, needless to say, many of the projects had to be deferred, and spending cuts were definitely also had to be applied. Some of the good things that happened though were the Hompa was able to get funds from the CARES Act, and they reduced some of the minister's payroll expenses, and as well as they reduced the assessment to the temple by over $30,000. So basically, through some of those savings, deferment of projects, the donation for the 120th restroom, and a number of other savings here and there, the temple for 2020 basically broke even. If you go all the way down to the bottom line, you'll see that we ended up just with a negative $406. If you go a little further, all the way to the bottom of the report, you'll see right there, net income negative $406. So that was an incredible feat. I mean, there was no way for us to really plan to hit that number. It just miraculously came to be. And as you can see, that the original budget was a negative $257,000. So we were very fortunate. We were able to survive this 2020 year. And as we enter 2021, again, there's a lot of uncertainty. So what we did is that we made some general assumptions. And at the time the budget was built, that's about the best you can do. On the income side, we basically are forecasting that we won't be able to have a Matsuri this year. But our hope is that we will be able to have our Chump Fund fundraising at the county fair, though we've taken that down a little because I think we're trying to be as conservative as possible. Without knowing what's going to be happening this year, we also budgeted another fun year-end fundraising drive, but our target is about half of what we had targeted for this year. So we're trying to be conservative, as on the same hand, we're trying to reduce our expenses as much as possible, so that we're not, basically spending money we don't have. Other notable items that we had is that we're trying to assist our affiliate organizations. So one of the things that we're going to do in 2021 is we're not going to charge the preschool or the gakuen for administrative services. Since the temple office takes care of their books and payables and payroll and all that, there's normally a monthly fee that is assessed to offset the time and expenses. But in 2021, we're going to waive those fees to help those two organizations get through 2021. We're also going to plan for, the board was talking about having a couple chicken heka fundraisers, so that's in there. And basically, we're hoping to watch our expenses. One of the things that is visible there on the bottom under repair and maintenance, though, we're still budgeting money, and those notes on repair and maintenance that you see on the screen are actually for 2021. So we're budgeting money to maintain our properties. We're also unknown at this point in time. We're budgeting the full Hompa assessment. This year, in 2020, they actually only billed us for about half the assessment, but we went in and conservatively put in the full assessment, which would be normally about $60,000. But with all that, listed. We're still forecasting to be in the black. As with that number there, you see 2,579 for 2021. And a lot of that is just because we're cutting back wherever we can on our spending, and just hoping that things will start to get a little brighter as we get through the year. We definitely appreciate the generosity of the Kyodan and all the membership that have generously donated to the temple this past year in 2020. We can't expect the same type of generosity, especially when the future is so uncertain. So we've taken down some of that as well, but we felt it to be responsible to try to stay with a balanced budget. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what we're planning to do for this year, 2021. And definitely, if there's anyone that has any questions, I would certainly feel free to answer them.
Mike?
Gary, you're recognized.
Thank you. First, thank you all for all this hard work in preparing our budget and for, being our director of finance throughout the year. I move that we adopt the 2021 budget as prepared by the director of finance.
Thank you. There's a motion to adopt the budget as presented. May I have a second, please? Danny seconds. Danny in Temple seconds. So the motion on the floor is to adopt the budget as presented by our Director of Finance. Any comments, questions, further questions at this time? If not, if there are any objections to the motion, please indicate objections. If not, we will consider the motion approved. Thank you very much. And thank you, Paul, for your hard work. Really appreciate it. I think everybody understands that this past year, 2020 was really, really challenging from a temple finance standpoint. But I think with all of the help of our members and friends and organizations, affiliate organizations, we made it through in, I guess, fairly good shape. So thanks again, everybody. All right, so at this time, we'll proceed to the installation of officers and directors. And just as background, our bylaws provide that our officers and directors are elected to a term of 2 years. So following this installation, the newly elected officers will their terms will run through 2021 and through 2022. Generally, when we have the services in person, we have the officers come up to the altar. But in lieu of doing that, we have 3 officers, directors here this evening. We'll have those be representing the entire board. Although when it does come time for the installation recitation, I ask that everyone participate. And so let me just go through the list of our officers and directors for the years 2021 and 2022. Vice Chair Gary Murai, Activities Director Danny Top, Finance Director Paul Hiranaga, Properties Director Ron Fukumoto, Records Director Faith Tengan, Religious Affairs Director Tamara Manley. Directors are Frank Hamasaki, Gwen Hiraga, Alden Mochida, Joan Tamori, Shelly Wong Kwipatla, Brian Hashiro, Eric Ikeuchi, Greg Okamoto, and Joyce Tamori Tice. So at this time, we'll have Eric, Danny, and I will step forward to the altar to represent everyone in the installation um, proceedings, which will be administered by Reverend Murakami.
Thank you very much. This year we feel kind of empty, but I feel we have so many people, our past, our temple members, their spirit is here, and they are watching over each one of us, and they are sending us for us to do our best on this difficult time. So let's we work together for betterment of not only oneself, but for our community. Installation ceremony. Newly elected officers of the Wailuku Hongwanji mission, your fellow members express their confidence in you by their votes. Therefore, upon your shoulders are placed the responsibilities for the success of this organization. Your duties will be heavy and challenge great. Before you make your pledge, it is well for all of us to know hearken to the teachings of our faith. The ethical basis of this organization is founded in the Eightfold Path, which is one of the foundation stones of Buddhism. Your endeavors in behalf of and in cooperation with the entire membership must be based upon these 8 elements of the Noble Path. First, right understanding. Second, right purpose. Third, right speech. Fourth, right conduct. Fifth, right livelihood. Sixth, right endeavor. Seventh, right thoughts. Eighth, right meditation. Are you prepared to treat this path indicated by our blessed sage? Are you prepared to serve your organization and a community in a spirit of universal brotherhood? If you are, in the presence of our compassionate Buddha and with other members and friends as witnesses, please repeat the pledge after me. I solemnly pledge to uphold the ideas of my faith in my daily life and to discharge my duties as an officer of the Wailuku Hongwanji mission to the best of my ability. Namo Amida Butsu. On the authority vested in me as installing officer, it is my privilege to declare you officially installed as officers of the Wailuku Hongwanji mission for year 2021 to 2022. Congratulations, officers. May you have a successful year. Thank you very much and best wishes.
with that installation, we don't have any other business unless there is anything that the General Assembly would like to raise. If not, I hereby close the 2021 General Assembly meeting, and I'll turn it back to our MC, Eric Ikeuchi.
Thank you, Mike. Can we now have everyone recite the Sing-Shu Pledge? Let us begin together.
I take my refuge in the vow of the Buddha, reciting the name. I will live through life with strength and serenity. I revere the light of the Buddha. I will put my effort in my work with self-reflection and gratitude. I follow the teachings of the Buddha, discern the right path. I will spread the true Dharma. I rejoice in the compassion of the Buddha. I will respect and help others and do my best for the welfare of humankind. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandab Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
May you now recite the Nembutsu.
Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandab 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 Namandab.
Okay, that concludes the 2021 Wailuku Hongwanji Sokai and installation of officers and directors. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thanks,
Thank
Eric.
you, Eric.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Happy New Year, everybody.